Since the 1860s, sandstone has been dug from the Yankee Hill quarries for use in construction in and around Lincoln. These quarries filled with water and provided both aquatic habitat and a sometimes mysterious and frightening place to swim. A young Loren Eiseley spent many days in the area, and many of the childhood memories he recollects in his writings are located here. The quarries are on private property and off limits, but can be viewed from an overlook in Pioneers Park. The overlook has come to be called Hippy Hill because it was a popular hangout during the 60s and 70s. Here's a section from Eiseley's essay, The Gold Wheel.
We stood in a wide, flat field at sunset. For the life of me, I can remember no other children before them. I must have run away and been playing by myself until I had wandered to the edge of the town. They were older than I and knew where they came from and how to get back. I joined them. They were not going home. They were going to a place called Green Gulch. They came from some other part of town, and their clothes were rough, their eyes worldly and sly. I think, looking back, that it must have been a little like a child following goblins home to their hill at nightfall, but nobody threatened me. Besides, I was very small and did not know the way home, so I followed them. Presently we came to some rocks. The place was well named. It was a huge pool in a sandstone basin, green and dark, with the evening over it, and the trees leaning secretly inward above the water. When you looked down, you saw the sky. I remember that place as it was when we came there. I remember the quiet and the green ferns touching the green water. I remember we played there, innocently at first. But someone found the spirit of the place, a huge old turtle, asleep in the ferns. He was the last lord of the green water before the town poured over it. I saw his end. They pounded him to death with stones on the other side of the pool, while I looked on in stupefied horror. I had never seen death before. Suddenly, as I stood there small and uncertain and frightened, a grimy, splattered gnome who had been stooping over the turtle stood up with a rock in his hand. He looked at me, and around that little group some curious evil impulse passed like a wave. I felt it and drew back. I was alone there. They were not human. I do not know who threw the first stone, who splashed water over my suit, who struck me first, or who even finally, among that ring of vicious faces, put me on my feet, dragged me to the roadside, pointed and said roughly, "There's your road, kid. Follow the street lamps. They'll take you home." They stood in a little group watching me, nervous now, ashamed a little at the ferocious pack impulse toward the outsider that had swept over them. I never forgot that moment. I went because I had to, down that road with the wind moving in the fields. I went slowly from one spot of light to another, and in between I thought the things a child thinks, so that I did not stop at any house, nor ask anyone to help me when I came to the lighted streets. I had discovered evil.